So the thing is I was always very athletic in my life too, played a lot of sports. And I, did some taekwondo and kickboxing and that kind of thing. I can never stand to get punched in the face. So when did it cross over for you that you were, okay, I'm cool, I'm athletic, I'm cool with being an athlete, and I'm really okay with getting punched in the face? Because to me, that's a whole other world.
It is. It's totally, it's crazy. And I'll tell you what, when I started training, I started wrestling, obviously in high school. That was my first thing. And then I transitioned over into basic MMA, like learning techniques. And I was really interested in the ground, like submissions, and I was like, wow, this is so cool because it like really plays off my wrestling and that, but I could never do any kind of contact. So I was totally I don't want to get punched in the face.
It's totally, not fun.
It's not very appealing. And I'll tell you, for probably like almost the first 6 months to a year, I hated sparring. I would get so frustrated because I didn't understand it. I didn't understand how to move around. I was just felt like I was getting beat up, almost like violated. I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm so mad right now because I'm very competitive.
See, and that's what I would get mad, and then technique goes out the window when you're mad.
And then you get beat up even more. And then like, I better go back to the technique and just, try to learn more. But then it was really motivating because it was so foreign and new that I just kind of overcame it, and now I'm completely fine with it. I like it. I love sparring.
Cool.
It's just weird. It's like breaking down mental barriers, things that you think you might not be capable of, you can learn to love.
Right. Well, also it probably, I just, wonder how long it took you to discover if you had a chin or not, where you can take a punch and that kind of thing, because obviously that's got to be some kind of a learning process.
Yeah. Well, my first fight, it was my very first amateur fight. I went out there, I took her down, and I pretty much didn't even think about punching. I was like, I'm wearing gloves, but I was still wrestling. I had 3 weeks of stand-up training. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'd never been in a fight before, so I'm like taking her down and just like pinning her, and they're like, you can punch. I'm like, oh yeah. It didn't even dawn on me, and I didn't have very many submissions, on my tool belt that I was really actually good at doing. So, and then I went out in the second round. She was a Muay Thai, Liz Posner, and she put me in a Thai clinch, and I didn't know what the hell that was. So I'm still trying to shoot in on a double leg, typical. And she catches me with 2 nasty knees to the face. Ouch. And one of which broke my nose.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was like broken, and I like.
Gushing blood?
Blood all over the place.
Not good.
And we just kind of, I kind of tried to take her down on double, and she stepped over and she took my back, and she was trying to choke me, and I'm just sitting down there like this, and there's like blood pooling in front of me, and I'm just like, really?
Really,
Did that just happen? And I was just like regrouping for a minute, and I'm just watching this blood go dripping off my nose. And she's just then she sits up and she's like punching me in the ears because she couldn't sink the choke. I was just too tight. And I was just like, what the hell am I doing? I'm like, I better get this, I'm not gonna say it,
I know.
off my back and start kicking her ass. So I just like bucked, and I went crazy, and then I remember standing above her guard, and I mean there's blood all over her, there's blood all over me, and I'm just like raining down punches, and she's just like this, and I like felt so great. And then I went back into my corner for in between rounds 2 and 3, and my corner was like, oh, we're not letting you go back out there.
Oh,
and it sucked. I was so mad. I wanted to finish it because I finally had got that
you fought the fight, right.
That's when I realized that I didn't quit. It wasn't like, they say fight or flight kind of thing. I'm definitely a fighter.
Nice.
I wanted to stay in it. I didn't want to give up. I wanted to go back out because I felt like I had it from that point on. The third round was going to be all mine. I really get that fighter. Because I went out there not knowing what to expect. I wasn't really fighting. I was just, I was feeling it out. I didn't understand the concept of it. And then once I got injured, I was just like, oh hell no. Exactly.
I know. I love that.
And then it just kind of went from there. And then it was so funny because everybody jinxed me, I think, before my fight. They're like, oh, just don't break your nose. Everybody at the sport, so I was like flooring fighting, and then I went home, and everyone was like, well, at least she learned her lesson. She'll be done with that. And I was like, oh no way.
No. Now you gotta
go back. I gotta go for more. I gotta redeem myself. Hi, Miesha Tate here, and you're watching MMA Heat.